Okay, this episode was so weird. Okay, so who normally I start with characters, but so they do a basic speed run from giving Rachel's backstory, which we still don't fully understand what the heck is going on, but it's obvious she's not the good girl Alexander thought she was because she even told that Mark. So at least that part was true. That she doesn't feel bad about her own misdeeds. So she knows that what she's doing is wrong. And then we see um that Cobb is the one who saves Alexander. So we get a little buddy comedy thing going on, which was fun. I was hoping that they would, become friends by the end of this, and it seems like they have. Michelle saved, helped Victor save his parents. And so I guess St. George gave Parker her job because she's basically overseeing operations. Isn't that what St. George does? Or did I misunderstand something? Is she like on the same tier as Moira? Someone seems to be calling it quits. It's possible that St. George does because, you can see how much he loves her wife, and maybe she wants to spend more time taking care of her. That's a possibility. But I don't know if she figured it out or if Parker told her that Schiff was just benefited from the hack, but he's not the one who created the hack. And so we get bits and pieces throughout everyone talking who the hack was. And Victor had told Michelle, you never fully leave it. So Michelle is going to happily live her life because Parker destroyed all copies of her file so she can, be whomever she wants. But yet they still said, pick who you want to be. And that makes me wonder why. Why does she still have to pick who she wants to be from 3 files? I mean, she had a name before she started being an asset to everyone. So why does she have to pick? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who wish that they could, so easily pick up a life that way. So that's bizarre. And it sounds like based on how it ended that we're not getting rid of Michelle yet. But we don't know if her name is still Michelle. Wouldn't it be funny if she went to Natalie? Considering she told Alexander her real name is Natalie, even though that was made up bullshit. But wouldn't that be funny if that's the name she picked? And she just told him, when you're done with this life, come look me up. And leaves. Which is the most stable thing that has happened on this show. Now, which pissed me off is Parker decided that she did not want him to see her. That he met Parker, but he didn't see what she was looking like. And her response is, it's better this way. Even though she's totally pining for him. I mean, you saw when he walked by, still in his, well, I guess for lack of a better term, hospital garb, the way she was looking after him as he walked by. So that was really annoying me. I mean, I guess she figures that given their professions that, office romances shouldn't be a thing. But seriously, what the heck? And so I take it that whomever she was with before she went upstairs, she's no longer with him. Because it seemed like that they were more than just friends. The way she was holding his hand. I guess he's been forgotten. So Cobb overhears Victor. He somehow, he took the question that Marlowe gave him and said, okay, what am I missing? So he went back to look and he found out about the hack, and he overheard a phone call. I didn't catch how, that said carousel. And so he managed to find Alexander. And like I said, everyone figured out at this point that Victor was the one who initially hacked him. Which I honestly thought he was going to shoot Victor. Because, well, he hacked him and almost killed him. Not because of anything that anybody around him did, but because of the hack itself. So I'm not sure if I just missed it, but it wasn't made clear why Victor did this. And he's following Michelle. He has other hacks, but Alexander's is offline because Alexander gets to pick and choose when he's going to turn on the hack. So the question is, what is Victor's endgame? Like he's following Michelle. Oh, well, like I said, nobody ever is truly done. Okay, why are we following her then? I mean, she can take care of herself. She's proven that. So, what is going on? That's what I'd like to know. Like I said, they had that buddy comedy thing with Cobb. Like he stabbed him with the adrenaline in the neck, and the line, "I'm sorry, next time I'll save your life in a less painful way." I mean, it was just hilarious, which makes me wonder, did Cobb know that was supposed to be in the neck? Because I know, like with EpiPens, it's supposed to be in the thigh. You're supposed to stab him in the thigh. So I guess because he found out about the hack in his brain, that he figured that it should be close to the brain that he gets hacked, and that he gets the adrenaline. How did he find out that that's where you should stab him? But at least now we know how Cobb found out. And, Alexander is hosting Cobb in his apartment. Cobb is... Now, this I was unclear about as well. Who is he working for right now? The CIA? Is it that he's going to spy on the CIA for orphanage? Is that what he's offering Marlowe? I mean, I'm sorry. What is with this let's spy on the spies? What is happening? I mean, this is just... And he kind of sort of blackmailed them into it by, like, pointing out that you guys committed treason. And oh, wouldn't that be a shame if that got out? This is just was the weirdest episode. And I mean, it got interesting at the very end when it's like, oh, by the way, there's more to this. So I was worried when St. George went to confront Henry because she wanted to apologize. She brought tea, and, they were very cordial. But I really, really thought that that's why St. George was giving up her position to Parker, because she probably thought that, yeah, I'm not surviving this meeting with um with Schiff. I also we also got confirmation that that Alexander did indeed know that that was St. John, St. George. Why do I keep saying St. John? St. George. And so when he first met St. George, he was slightly startled, but, recovered. And I love how they brought it back to the Copenhagen test. And this is what I honestly thought he was going to do. This was the decision I thought he was going to do, was save both people and just wait for the next helicarrier to pick him up. Like he, made the hostage, which turned out to be Michelle, wait. And, St. George even asked him, why didn't you just do that? And it's like, that's great that you're following your conscience. You should do that, but do it all the way. Don't just, hold back because orders. Which is what led him to flip. And Danielle was, because Michelle did admit that, she told him about the apartment being bugged, and trying to figure out, why would he say I love you in Hakka as opposed to Mandarin. We only use Hakka when, my father only uses Hakka with me when I'm in trouble. So that's how she figures out that he didn't flip, that this was him screwing with Schiff so he could save his parents. There's something else I wanted to mention about. Oh, yes. And Parker was still trying to figure out, okay, who ultimately did this? Because they saved Alexander. They created I think he called it a governor to, so Hale could have control over when he wants to use the hack. So basically, that way orphanage can benefit from it, that they can see with his eyes and hear with his ears without, having to worry about that. He can turn it on. Otherwise, he can keep it off. And they apparently did something to ensure that whatever side effects he had from the hack, he won't have anymore. So we're going to see him. If there is a next season, we're going to see him. Michelle, we're probably going to see next season if there is a next season. Same thing with Victor, because he's the one doing shit. Moira, Parker, Cobb, Marlo, and possibly St. George. Doesn't sound like she's going to be completely gone. But it sounds like, she's going to take a back seat. So if there's a second season, we'll probably see her even less than we do now. Henry, maybe? I mean, he did let orphanage know where Hack Central was. So they were all arrested. Um but you know, I actually am surprised that Alexander didn't just shoot Victor even after seeing all these hacks, because Victor should feel even slightly guilty, and he did not. I mean, Schiff would not have gotten a hold of Alexander and the hack if it weren't for Victor. Now, the question is how he did it. We know why, but we still don't quite know why Victor, what Victor's endgame is. Apparently, he said, that we're doing this, and I don't know if he thinks that he found some super secret enemy that they have to protect against. Seriously, why did he think that hacking all these people is a good idea? Now, at least one other person knows, like Alexander, about the hack. So it seems like nobody knows. And the question also becomes, do they all have his version of the hack? So are they all going to suffer horribly like he did? So there's still plenty of questions to go through. And so I hope there is a second season of the Copenhagen test. Let me see if there's anything else. So yeah, of the characters, the only one I don't expect to see, or maybe see occasionally, is St. George. Everyone else I expect to come back. I was so worried that they were going to use Cobb for comedy when Hale asked, "Do you know how to use this?" And he goes, "I took a course," and I'm like, "Oh no, this is going to end badly." But no, he's a good shot, so that's good. Um, and I think the adrenaline kicked in. You think? Oh my god, I love those two together. They seriously, if there is a second season, there has to be more Cobb and Hale scenes. They are beautiful together. I love them together. Um, I'm actually quite surprised how bummed I am with Parker that she didn't, show her face to Hale, simply because, well, she's in love with Hale. So even though Alexander might not, think of her as his type and not be interested, but still to meet her. Because, I mean, I guess that was another reason why I should have realized that Parker was going to get this position, or somebody would, because St. George actually showed her face to Alexander. But she also did to Parker, so even before this, so I'm very confused. I mean, is there a rule that says that she can't show her face to other people? Very bizarre. Let's see. But yeah, everybody who's seen my review videos knows I'm not a big fan of romance. But if done well, I'm perfectly fine with it. So I really, really hope that if there is a second season, they will finally meet. Because it would be nice for both of them to have something grounded and real in this crazy ass world. Because who better to share it with than another spy? Than someone else in this line of work. Because it sounds like before Kate had dementia, that she was a part of this herself. Like that quote that's on the wall. Apparently, Kate was the one who said that quote, but she doesn't remember anything. Now, why St. George didn't tell her that it was her quote? Because I mean, yes, at some point when you have dementia, it's disconcerting to find out that you've forgotten so much. But at the same time, there's all they have in their apartment or in their house, all these pictures of when and where they went. So, I mean, why, why not mention then at this point that she's the one who said that quote? And she even looked at her at one point and said, that we built this. So, yeah. Um, so yeah, I would love to see something like that for Parker and Alexander. But, Michelle did say, when you're done with this craziness, come find me. So she obviously does like Alexander and does want to have a relationship with him. So maybe it's for the best, but it just kills me that Parker is looking at him with those puppy dog eyes and he's completely oblivious. It's just, ugh. I mean, they would be the ultimate power couple. Because, I want Michelle to have a nice life, a great life. I want her to live a real life. But at the same time, no, I want Parker and Alexander together. I don't think, did she even mention her name? He heard her voice, but I don't think they actually introduced themselves. Obviously she knows who he is, but I don't think she actually said her name. So not only does this man not know what she looks like, he doesn't even know what her name is. So I would love it if he just happened to walk by and hear her voice, because let's face it, he's really good at piecing things together. So I would love it if he could figure this out. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to mention this episode. I think I covered everything. Oh, watching that fight with Michelle and then Victor and then Alexander coming to save them after, they were starting to have problems because tear gas was put in the back room, so they had to go back to the front, and they're protecting his parents. And then Cobb coming in, after the fight is over, which I don't know if he did stuff in the back, because just because we didn't see it doesn't mean he just came too late. But yeah, it's I really hope there's a second season of the Copenhagen test, because I really, really want to know what is Victor's endgame. Why does he feel the need to do this? And not only do this, but do this without anybody being aware that they're doing it. Like, one person knows about the hack, but I'm assuming it's going to be because they found out on their own, like Alexander did, and not because Victor said anything. So, how did they pick who they picked? Why and why? Why did they pick these people, and what's the goal? What's the end game? So I think I've covered everything I wanted to. It's annoying that I don't know if this show has been renewed. And if it hasn't, this is going to be driving me crazy as to where they were planning on going with this. So, yeah. Um, yeah, I think that's all I have for this video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.